Hello, Curious, and welcome back. For a long time, Queen Elizabeth II has been said to have kept up the motto, never complain, never explain. This was a way to keep the family matters behind closed doors, not to become involved with the media reports and speculations, and to most importantly, maintain that line between royalty and the public. And that has worked for many years until November of 1995 when Lady Diana gave her famous tell-all interview for BBC Panorama. And while everyone is currently talking about one of her sons and his wife, what they have done with Oprah, let's look back at what Diana herself had said. What were some of the shocking revelations that Diana had made during the interview? What was so controversial about it, and what followed its release? Why 25 years after the initial air date was the trouble surrounding it and the journalist Martin Bashir? And how did it pave the way for Meghan and Harry's interview? Stay with us until the very end to find out all this information, but before we continue, don't forget to turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. Looking back at the interview that Meghan and Harry had done, especially the part where the Duchess had said that before she and her mother didn't even know about the scandalous interview that Lady Diana did, we thought it would be a good idea to remind you all just why that interview was so scandalous at the time. It seemed that on November 20th of 1995, the British monarchy was turned upside down as Diana's tell-all interview aired. The then 35-year-old decided that she was going to tell her side of the story rather than protect her in-laws and husband from who she was separated at the time. And so the Princess of Wales had agreed to do the interview with Martin Bashir. In a way, it was a sign that she was stepping away from the family as she was candidly engaging with the media, and most of all, the fact that she did not shy away from difficult questions. After it had initially aired, some people had pointed out that the interview was like a soap opera in its own right, as it had all the components: adultery, palace plotting, mental and physical illness problems, and overall, it was known the interview would cause such a big stir. The interview was just the first solo one that Diana had ever done, and it occurred just 9 months before her divorce from Prince Charles. But surely the idea of doing an interview wasn't scandalous in its own right. Well, no, but it was the things that she had revealed and how openly she spoke about them. Not to mention that a member of the royal family doing an interview on live television is not something that was seen before, or would have been seen again until 2019 with Prince Andrew's Newsnight special, and most recently the Sussex interview with Oprah. And if you want to know more about what they had said, be sure to check out our previous video, but for now, make sure you stay with us to find out exactly how Lady Di had paved the way for her future daughter-in-law. One of the main topics that the interview touched upon that was answered honestly was with regards to Diana and Charles' infidelity in the marriage, and when talking about a book that had been released about Diana and one in which her friends and people close to her had spoke to the author about her. So this had obviously brought up the topic of James Hewitt, who many think is Harry's biological father, and a rumor that has often been debunked by the royal family. Bashir had asked Lady Di if her friendship had gone beyond just what she had responded that it did, and when asked whether she had been unfaithful to Charles, she had also admitted to it and saying that she adored Hewitt and was in love with him, but that she was ultimately let down. And of course, when speaking of infidelities, the topic of Charles and Camilla had come up, and Martin had brought up the fact that around 1986, which was according to Prince's biography by Jonathan Dimbleby, and had renewed his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. What had shocked people was that Diana had admitted that she knew about the fact that her husband has been seeing his past love. And she said that while she knew about it, there wasn't anything that she could do, and how she had known was that a woman's instinct is a very good one, and she had revealed that she started to suspect something when the pattern in his behavior had changed, and because people close to them who cared about their marriage had confirmed it to her. And this interview is also where her infamous quote, "Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," and has come from when asked if she thought Camilla was a factor in the breakdown of their marriage. Another thing that the princess had revealed that left some people speechless was how Charles's friends were indicating that something was wrong with her and that she was once again, and here we quote, unstable, sick, and should be put in a home of some sort in order to get better. She went on to reveal that it was almost as if it was an embarrassment, and this also goes with how openly she spoke about her mental health struggles during their marriage, which before was something that was not spoken about, and such as how she suffered from postpartum depression. And while Diana had highlighted that she had received support, what she actually needed was time to rest and adjust to the new role, and not just a wife and a mother at a young age as well, but as a Princess of Wales, and the things that were expected of her as such. She also candidly spoke about her problems with eating disorders and how she had hurt herself as a cry for help because no one would listen to her when she said that she needed help, and she said that these labels of her being unstable or mentally unbalanced had stuck with her on and off for years to come. And once again, this was shocking to many for a few reasons. While some people had claimed that Lady Di was unhappy in her marriage with Charles, no one knew the full extent of exactly how she felt. And another reason was that it was not something that was talked about in a lot of interviews in general by celebrities and other public figures, let alone a member of the royal family. In detail, she had talked about her relationship with the food and with the reason why she felt the way she did and how she struggled with it because, in her words, it's like a secret disease. And she went on to explain that if you went to talk with people about it, it would make her feel bad and say that she was, and we quote again, waste food. Many had wondered how this interview was even possible given that the royals were very strict about media appearances and usually everything had to be planned out in advance. The reason for this even managed to happen was that she had secretly allowed the BBC journalist and his crew into Kensington Palace to film the interview. All the equipment was brought in under the disguise of being a new hi-fi system. Only a select few of those closest to the princess was even aware as to what was going on. And this obviously did include her private secretary, Patrick Jepson. According to the viewing figures at the time, a whopping total of 22.8 million viewers had tuned in to watch the princess's first solo interview that would later go down in history of not only journalism, but also the royal family. Diana's choices had paved the way for Meghan and Harry for sure. While people were still surprised about the things that were said, such as the Duchess opening up about her mental health, it was most likely much easier for her to do so than it was for Harry's mother. The fact that the couple had also stepped down from their duties as senior royals and moved to America had also made it more possible, as well as their friendship with Oprah. They didn't have to sneak around and were free to publicly announce that this was something that they were planning on doing. And though their interview didn't attract as many viewers as Diana's did, with an average of 17.14 million viewers on CBS, according to Nielsen's fast national numbers, but if you want to know in what other ways this interview, and especially Markle, had mirrored Diana's one, then be sure to click on the link above. It also seems that this interview was what had instigated the royal divorce, and during its airing, Charles and Diana were only separated and not legally divorced. Diana had said that it was something that she didn't want to do, as she came from a family with divorced parents herself. But in the end, it was the tipping point as a month later Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen had sent the letters to the Prince and Princess of Wales advising them to divorce. The move was backed by the Prime Minister and, as per the BBC, was decided after 2 weeks of talks. And it was so agreed upon that the divorce was finalized on August 28th of 1996. Though the interview also had other consequences, as it also seems that 25 years after the Panorama interview aired, the journalist Martin Bashir might be in trouble. Towards the end of last year, it was alleged that Bashir had used fake bank statements to persuade Earl Spencer, Diana's brother, to give him access to her. So in return, the BBC had admitted to commissioning fake documents, but the journalist in question had said that they played no part in securing the interview. The broadcaster had backed Martin, relaying on a note that Lady Di, in which she had acknowledged that he did not coerce her to the interview and that she wanted to do it. And it was announced that allegedly the journalist would be under criminal investigation to determine how he secured the interview, but at the start of March, the British press had reported that the Metropolitan Police said that officers had sought legal advice from internal lawyers, independent counsel, and the Crown Prosecution Service. And they had determined that the further involvement was not needed, meaning that Bashir would not be investigated. And so curious, were you aware of the things that Diana had spoken so candidly about in the interview? Did you know the journalist Martin Bashir who gave the interview was in trouble? Do you think the interview has changed anything, or have things in your opinion stayed the same within the royal family? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.